Alrighty, welcome into the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave, cavetalkradio.com and the Cave Talk Radio app. Great to have you aboard, Facebook Live. And we have an interesting show in store for you today. Of course, we have our NBA preview. NBA season tips off tonight, and we will have our full 1 hour preview in hour 2 of the show today. And getting started with the opening rant is the dangers of long-term quarterback contracts. So this is something that's, I think, a really difficult topic because on one hand, it's so impossible to find a really good quarterback, a difference-making quarterback. And when you find one, of course, you want to keep them. The trouble is not all difference-making quarterbacks are truly difference-making quarterbacks. Huh? Okay. Well, Russell Wilson. I've long contended, and I've been on the I've been admitted because of my contention here. But I've long contended that Russell Wilson was basically a black version of Alex Smith. He was a game manager, system quarterback with plus mobility, a little better arm than Smith, less accurate, but largely a above average system quarterback. But he's been treated and presented and paid like an equal to Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and the like. Newsflash. If you watched Denver this year, you would know Russell Wilson is nowhere near an equal to any of those guys. Russell Wilson is probably not an equal to Lamar Jackson. This guy is, I would say right now, if I was going to rank the top quarterbacks in the NFL, his name would come out somewhere between 11 and 14. He's basically league average, a little bit above average. But yet he's paid like an all-timer. Now, quarterbacks, of course, command a premium, as well they should, given the importance of the position. But they are now locked into this guy for years and years. And he just looks like an average NFL quarterback. But I've always felt that that's who he was. And I think that he was hid and really managed brilliantly in Seattle. Then he desired to go and have more freedom. And what's that saying? Oh, yeah. Careful what you wish for. Oh, you got it. You got Nate the Great calling your plays. Oh, wait. That doesn't work so well. I get that you're chifed at Pete Carroll for basically throwing away a Super Bowl. Well, but you threw the interception, though. So there's that. But, yeah, I look at this and I think to myself, you have to be really careful, with who you lock up to these contracts. It's one thing to sign Patrick Mahomes to whatever $500 million contract for whatever 12, 13 years. That's fine. Patrick Mahomes is as good as they come. Ditto for Josh Allen. Like, those type of guys are easy. But there's like 5 of them. Like, Lamar Jackson's a good example. That's coming up. How's Baltimore going to handle that? Murray in Kyler Murray in Arizona. How do you handle him? I mean, these guys are guys who are good, but maybe not superstar elite, who are more as much system as substance. And you don't want to lock yourself into guys who are likely to not sustain that. But at the same time, and this is why it's such a challenging decision, the likelihood of you finding someone better than Kyler Murray or Lamar Jackson is also pretty low. Like, they're just good enough that they're hard to replace, but they're not good enough that you want to pay them what it's going to take to keep them. And that's the catch-22 of it all. And I don't have an answer for it other than I'm glad I'm not a GM having to make that decision. Yeah, it's a pleasure to write that check to Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, but like, it's a real hold your breath moment when you have to write that check to a Russell Wilson or to use another example, someone like Ryan Tannehill or, in the past, Alex Smith. That's a tough decision because you can't really win. Not retaining them, you're almost assuredly to have a significant downgrade and probably lose your job. Retaining them, you're likely to be viewed as being overpaid and you might lose your job. So like it's a real, I mean, that's a real catch-22. That's a rough one.
Bank your salary if you're a GM.
Yeah, seriously.
You may not have it for long. I'm kind of in this year on Ravens and their quarterback.
Jackson?
I am kind of in on Jackson this year. He's shown more from the pocket than he ever has. He's shown more discipline where it's not just take off and run unless you've got a serious opening. And he looks more like a quarterback this year. I might be inclined to pay him. I think Kyler Murray was a mistake. Yeah. From the beginning, you put almost 25% of your salary cap onto a guy who is okay.
Right.
When your best attribute as a quarterback is your mobility, you might not be a great quarterback.
Well, that's why I've always been worried about Jackson. But to your point, he has certainly improved over the years. And, you know, look, he's a few years ahead of Murray. Maybe Murray will too. But
Jackson can see over the pocket.
Right, right.
Murray, I mean, I think this is the only way he can play. He's just so fast that he gets away with it a lot.
Right.
But you had clinkers like you had Sunday against the Seahawks. 19-9, and their only touchdown was after a botched punt attempt, and they landed on the ball in the end zone. Murray generated 0 offense.
Yep. No, you're right. I mean, and it's tough. I mean, but to my point is like, I don't retain Murray. Okay, what's my plan now? You know,
I try to retain him at less money and let someone else make that mistake.
Right.
You bailed on Rosen after 1 year. I mean, you're used to drafting quarterbacks.
That's true.
Draft another one. I don't think you're ever going to win with him.
Yeah, no, I agree. And unfortunately, I think a lot of teams are never going to win. But like, you know, you want to be competitive. You want to be in the mix. And you know, Murray, at least last year, was able to produce that. But I agree with you. Largely, we view Murray the same way. We do. I'm just trying to put myself in that room of trying to make that decision. It's a real tightrope because, I mean, yeah, let's sign him to less money, but like him and his reps know what they could conceivably command, and losing him for nothing or a compensatory pick might be worse than overpaying him, or it might not be. That's what I mean. It's just
that's a chair I wouldn't want to sit in.
The hell with that. I'd rather be here.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's kind of the NBA thing. I mean, a couple guys, DeAndre Hunter, guys like that just signed last night. These 4-year, $90 million deals. Are they worth it? Oh, no. Far from it.
Yeah, but with the modern NBA cap, a $90 million contract spread over 4 years.
Yeah, it's $22.5 million.
That's a mid-level salary. You know, that's not a, like the top guys are making 45 or 50, and the bottom guys are making, you know, 5 to 7, or the 3 to 7, whatever.
Or you have veterans on veterans minimum, no more than $2 million,
and you have your, you know, two-way guys, whatever. But you know, your low-level non-veterans minimum contracts are in that $5 million range or so. So a $20 million salary for a good but not great player, I think, is more sustainable in the NBA than 30% of your cap going to a quarterback who is not a game changer.
And the NFL has a hard cap.
They have a hard cap, and
the NBA has their cap is like butter.
And it takes
been left out.
And
it's very soft, but it allows you certain liberties, signing certain players,
right.
mid-level exemptions and stuff. Veterans minimums don't count. It allows you to keep pieces together a little better. There's pluses and minuses to all of it.
There is, but the other thing with the NFL that makes it difficult is even though quarterback is the most important position probably in all of sports, it's also the NFL football in particular is the most team-centric sport of all of them. Like, you could have Tom Brady, but if you can't keep him upright, it doesn't matter. You could
Right.
have Aaron Rodgers, but if he can't throw the ball to himself, it doesn't matter.
Right.
And that's the spot you put yourself in when you put such a huge percentage of your cap into one position, which you have to based on market conditions. But it makes it very difficult to still be competitive. That's unless that guy is just so damn good that like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, those two, and to a lesser
They're that
extent,
good.
Justin Herbert, they're that good.
Yeah.
These other guys aren't. Maybe Aaron Rodgers is still that good. I mean, the fact that they're even in games with this offense is amazing to me because that's a terrible roster.
You have to have someone to throw to. Someone.
Right. It's like I have my phone on at all hours of the night. I think I'm going to get a phone call.
They let their top 3 receivers go.
It was inconceivable. It really was.
And everyone says, oh, Valdez-Scantling wasn't that much. Well, you know something? He was there for a while, and he caught the ball. To me, that's enough. Not everyone's a superstar, but you got rid of 3 playmakers. I mean, I completely get it. And as you said, I completely agree with the team sport. Spending that much of a cap is a risk, and I'm just not sure Murray is the guy I would spend that risk on.
No, I understand.
If that 4.4 speed ever drops to 4.5, linebackers are going to have him for lunch.
Yeah, that's fast food right there. Fast food right there. All right, well, there you have it. So that's the opening rant. Let's hit up our first break. When we come back, we'll do the question of the day. It's the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines. Plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. That's 800-370-2460.
Come on, you watch the news. Be prepared to pay more taxes. Then if you owe back taxes or haven't filed in a few years, get ready. The IRS, the largest collection agency in the world, will be coming after you with the power to collect taxes by any means they want to. Hey, they can freeze your bank account, your passport, even padlock your business. Oh, good times. Look, if the IRS claims you owe them $5,000 or more in back taxes and they're coming after you, don't panic. Call my friends at Get a Tax Lawyer first. Their job is to negotiate with the IRS and save you money. They're experts at it. That's all they do, and you can trust them. In some cases, they have reduced a $50,000 tax bill to less than $1,000. If you owe the IRS $5,000 or more in back taxes, call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. That's 800-649-8617.
All right, we're back. Welcome back to the Gary Ayd Show, and it's time now for our radio question of the day. Here it is.
The Mitches always show up for the home team. I am KO, back in 1 minute with your sports question of the day.
If you served in the Marine Corps, by now you know about the contaminated water problem at Camp Lejeune. If you were stationed or worked at Camp Lejeune from 1953 to 1987, you probably have a lot of questions. We have some answers. You could be entitled to compensation. Billions of dollars are being allocated to pay for damages to anyone stationed at Camp Lejeune during that time. Unfortunately, it appears that officials may have known the contaminated water problem existed and did little to protect their men. The Semper Fi code was not honored. If you or someone in your family has developed a serious illness, including various forms of cancer, call this Camp Lejeune legal support line right now. You can't turn back the clock and change what happened, but you can certainly call right now and learn your rights as a Marine. Here's the number.
800-414-1657. 800-414-1657. That's 800-414-1657.
The recent Browns-Chargers matchup highlighted Lake Erie's notorious midges. The mosquito-like bugs, also known as lake flies, chizzywinks, or muckleheads, gained notoriety during Game 2 of the 2007 ALDS matchup between New York and Cleveland. The little buggers swarmed the game, getting the best of Yankees pitcher Joba Chamberlain. Poor guy couldn't overcome that ants-in-your-pants feeling and ultimately yielded the tying run, paving the way for Cleveland to take the game. Question: which would you rather have for a naturally occurring mascot? Mosquitoes or midges?
Can we have neither? I don't
My
like.
answer exactly.
Oh, yucky. By the way, I have a funny Joba Chamberlain story real quick. So when he kind of rose to prominence, I was interning at WFAN in New York City. And one of my assignments, I worked 3 different shifts. One of my assignments was basically assisting the producer of Tony Page overnight. And, basically I was doing call screening essentially. And one of the things with call screening is you would put into the system, which the host could then see on their end, the name of the caller and a note about what they wanted to talk about. So this caller calls in one day, wants to talk about Joba Chamberlain, and I put in Joba, Jaba. It's Joba, but he knew who I was talking about. And Tony Page, who was generally a really low key kind of guy, it's why he had success overnight. That sort of requires him more of a mellow personality. He went crazy. He questioned my integrity. He questioned my ability to do a job. It was like this huge deal. I was like, dude, did you think I was talking about Phil Hughes? You knew who he was calling about, right? Isn't that my job? It's an internal note. This doesn't go published somewhere. I would understand it if I was writing an article for the website. I would get that. Even then, he went a little over the top, but I would at least understand it. You knew who I was talking about. You had the call. It went right. What the hell does it matter? It's notes. Do you proofread all your notes for perfect spelling and grammar? How OCD do you have to be to do that?
Oh, you read some of the stuff I sent you.
That's what I mean. But I understand it all.
Right.
They're
I
notes.
may misspell something or leave a letter out
Right. They're notes.
Right.
God, talk about being OCD. Anyway, whenever I think of Joba Chamberlain, that's the first thing I think of these days. Is that? That he was amazing though. But
I've seen those insects in Cleveland.
Oh, they're ugly. I've seen them too in Florida.
Pain.
Oh, they're horrible.
Oh yeah, they're worse in Florida.
Yeah, Florida, they're mutants. The swamps and the humidity breeds those things. But
I'd rather have neither.
Yeah,
if my choices are one of those two, I will beg them to build a dome.
Yeah, can we get just not have a mascot then?
How about a retractable roof?
Yes, that's my mascot. Yes.
When the midges come up, close the roof.
It's 5,000 degrees out. There's midges. Let's just have the roof. That's my mascot. I'm with you.
Perfect.
I'm with you. Now, last night's Yankee game was rained out.
Gee, a retractable roof would have fixed that.
That would have been really helpful, right? So they
have to play today.
They have to play one way or the other.
Because Wednesday's game 1 of the ALCS.
Right. Now this does
game 1 of the National League is tonight. Sorry.
Tonight. This does open the question: who should the Yankees throw now? I think I read it's going to be Cortez.
That's what I saw.
Yeah.
I have no idea who the Guardianas are throwing.
I mean, when did Bieber pitch last? He might be up.
Game 2, he may be able to do it.
I mean, if he
their bullpen as rested as it is and as good as they've been, 5 innings.
Yeah.
Give me 5 to 6.
Yep.
That's all I need. I have guys that can close it out.
Yep.
And the best closer in baseball.
I probably would go with Bieber, even if it's on it would probably be on 3 or 4 days rest. I think it might be 4.
I would too.
At this point, because
it's your best chance to win.
It's your best chance to win. And it's do or die.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if the Guardianas end up winning, oh man. I mean, and I don't, and this one, as much as I don't like all these underdogs, this one I don't care so much about because I viewed the Yankees as a flawed team from the beginning that won a lot of games because of a crazy hot start. Like, I don't view the Yankees in the same category that I viewed the Mets, Dodgers, Braves, and Astros. I just don't. I view them as a lesser than all those teams. And, you know, so the losses by the Mets, which of course was more personal, and the Dodgers, which just drove me crazy. Those were more like mind blowing to me. Whereas the Yankees losing to just about anyone in the AL race, to me, was a little bit more foreseeable. Not likely. I still pick the Yankees to win this series, but like,
I did as well.
I don't view them as equals to those teams.
No, I think you and I have been on that same page all season too.
Yeah.
A very flawed team. They can't manufacture runs. They rely on pitchers to throw some stuff right over the plate, to groove pitches to their home run hitters.
Right.
And that's a flawed system.
And I think this team,
if the Guardianas win, good. I want it. I mean, they won't have a chance against the Astros, but I think the Astros outclass either team in this series.
Yeah, the Astros are I mean, I've thought all year they're the best team in baseball. I don't see why I'm going to change my mind on that now.
Yeah.
They just won a
the
doubleheader.
Dodgers losing didn't bother me as much as it did you. I was just really happy being a Brewers guy, someone who watches the Brewers pretty intent. I was really happy to see Josh Hader save all 3 wins. And for him to strike out the side in the 9th, and the side wasn't Max Muncy up there. It was Betts, Turner, and Freeman. I'm just happy he's back. And if that took them beating the Dodgers, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I want to see the best be back.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine. I'm like pretty sure I'm not going to watch an inning of the National League Championship Series. I have like zero interest in either team.
I'm there for it.
I can't stand the Phillies, and I feel the Padres are this year's version of what the Cardinals in the NFL were last year and what the Bengals were last year. Like, I think they were a paper tiger that got hot at the right time, and I don't respect that type of winning. I just
Sometimes all it takes is to get hot at the right time.
Yeah, it's called luck. I don't respect luck. Good for you for having it. You know, if you win the lottery because you're lucky, you're awesome. But I don't respect it. I don't.
Almost every winner's involved with some element.
I don't respect being born to Mark Cuban. Someone has to be. But like, you know, I don't find you to be a brilliant businessman. You were born into it. Whereas I respect the shit out of Mark Cuban because he built it
out of nothing.
And, you know, that's how I feel about these upset teams. Is I feel they're the trust fund baby and the lottery winner. That's how I feel about these teams that get hot at the right time. And that's not just the Padres. That's across all sports. I
don't know. I'll give the Phillies credit for getting hot at the right time. And the Braves looked like they were disinterested.
Yeah, the Phillies barely made the playoffs. I just don't respect these teams. Is what it
I don't
boils
know
down
if they
to.
thought it was going to be a cakewalk and they just had to show up.
Yeah,
But the Phillies did a lot of the right things. And how do you not like a closer named Sir Anthony? Come on.
well, he's on the Phillies, and I'm a
Yeah.
Mets fan, so I'm contractually obligated to dislike the Phillies. It's a rule.
Okay.
It's in the contract, the Met fan
Jeez.
contract.
What do I do watching the Pirates all the time?
Well,
I gotta hate everyone.
yeah. That's right. Oh, man. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We got more to get to. We'll break down Monday Night Football. Also, some news out of Washington. Now, it might not be the NFL, but the NFL's buddies in the Attorney General's office of D.C., it's their turn to take an aim at Sir Dan Snyder. We'll see how that goes. We'll give you the skinny on that. This is according to CBS. Back after this, the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.
Are you like me? You have health insurance, but you don't have dental insurance. Do you need to get to the dentist right away? Maybe you need an implant or some other major service. Well, I found a dental insurance plan that's just right for you. It's called Spirit Dental. Spirit Dental offers a $100 lifetime deductible, a huge network of dentists. And here's the best part. There's no waiting periods. Yeah, that means you can call right now and have real dental insurance for you and your family tomorrow and get that immediate coverage you want. Spirit Dental has plans for just a few dollars a day, up to $5,000 annual maximum, and coverage for implants. Whatever age you are, the dental insurance you need is a free phone call away. Now don't wait, and be sure to ask about Spirit's vision plan. Here's the number: 800-631-9229. 800-631-9229. That's 800-631-9229.
Hey friend, life happens and you need money. What do? You call the special toll-free number we're about to give you. We will send you a link to your phone with details on how you can loan up to $5,000. Couldn't you use $5,000 to pay for your rent, pay grocery bills, get your car repaired, or whatever you need? It's up to you. We don't care. We're just here to lend you the money. And we'll lend people money with good, bad, or no credit at all. Of course, some terms and conditions apply, and you'll see those on the link we're going to send you. So if you need up to $5,000 maybe as soon as the next business day, call this number right now. We will text you a free link with details.
Paid for by Money Mutual. Call 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. That's 800-586-7112.
Okay, so Dan Snyder not out of the woods yet, so it doesn't sound like the NFL is going to move forward with anything, but that doesn't mean they can't get DC to do their dirty work. So DC Attorney General, they are. So the DC Attorney General set to take action against Dan Snyder. How about that? Commies prosecuting commies. Isn't that amazing?
I like it. It makes for good copy. It makes for good talk.
The commies prosecuting the commies. All right. Multiple NFL team owners want Dan Snyder ousted. We know that. Local government is now on their side. The U.S. House of Representatives Oversight Committee continues its nearly year-long investigation of the workplace culture under Snyder. The Office of the Attorney General for the District of Columbia is planned to take its own action against the embattled businessman, according to the Washington Post. And it goes on from there. This story is available at CBS Sports if you're interested in reading it. All right, so it looks like they're going to try to get him to testify.
I saw that. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
If you're Dan Snyder,
and
it looks like they might be successful doing something, do you still open your files and say, well, let's talk, NFL? I have some things I need to bring up.
That's tough because, like, I do fight it to the bitter end no matter what. I'm not selling the team. You'll have to throw me in jail first. Like, I would fight it to the bitter end. Do I dump that? I don't. And the reason why is if I'm going to fight this, they're not going to, let's say Snyder wins this round. The NFL is not going to stop. I want to always I always want to have that leverage in my back pocket. I think the threat of it is maybe more powerful than whatever he has. Like I want to hold that over their head. So I think for that strategic reason, I reserve at least some stuff. But the problem is if I start opening a little bit, now there's going to be subpoenas for more of it. And, you know, I'm going to be put under pressure to release everything. But if I release nothing and it's not really related, because it's ambiguous, you know, blackmail threat, basically, it's not really related to this case specifically as far as the attorney general is concerned. I think I just leave it alone. So I retain my ace in the hole, so to speak, for future battles with these monsters.
Can the attorney general force him to sell his business?
They're going to try. That's what it sounds like. I don't
like this precedent that was set and is just getting worse.
Well, that's why I've defended every one of these owners, and they're all scumbags. It's not like I have any particular love lost for Donald Sterling or Dan Snyder. I respect Snyder a little bit more because he's, at least right now, putting up a front of, let's fight, fuckers. Like, and I respect that. But I don't really think he's a good guy.
I don't either.
But like,
although I do like your Samuel L. Jackson as Dan Snyder thing there.
Yes.
That was good.
Like, let's go. All right. Like, if we're going to do this, let's do it. So, I hate this precedent. I mean, it's just not, it's not okay. I mean, like, there's no, and like office place culture, like, so don't freaking work there. Like, I've worked in places that were shitty culture. Leave. Get a new job.
We all have.
It's just life. Get over it. Like, something that's miserable doesn't mean it's a crime or someone, you know, wronged you or whatever. And even if they did wrong you, it's not the world's place or need to fix that. Like, man up, put your big boy pants on, and handle it. It's called life, man. Like, let's go. Come on. I'm sick of this crap. Like, we've all had shitty jobs. We've all had asshole managers. We've all had people that, like, you know, treat us with disrespect. Like,
I can write a book.
We all could. Like, it's life. People
there
suck.
Are some things
Deal with it.
I think are unacceptable.
But even if they're unacceptable, it's not a case where the district attorney should be trying to forcibly extract private property from someone's hands. Because
that I agree with.
Because then
if the person that's the recipient of the unacceptable behavior calls a lawyer, more power to you.
Right. Go ahead and sue and whatever.
Yes.
But like, that's
get your pound of flesh.
Right.
And move on.
Let's go. But like,
no, I don't like the taking of businesses either. Even someone as repugnant as Donald Sterling.
Oh, and he's as repugnant as they come. And you have personal ties to him.
I briefly worked for the man.
Right.
Very briefly.
But like, because the problem is, the second you start setting the precedent of removing business from private ownership for reasons of unacceptable behavior, well, who's defining unacceptable behavior? And how is that definition going to expand and broaden over time? It's the classic slippery slope argument. Like, it just shouldn't be done. Like, the only way you should remove private ownership is if someone's convicted of a felony and they go into jail. And even then, it should be put in a trust that person who's having it removed from their ownership dictates where it goes, because it's still theirs.
How many times has this happened in all of sports so far?
3 in the last 10 years, starting with Sterling, now with Sarver, and here we are now with 4, because he had Jerry Richardson too.
Jerry Richardson, yeah, that was the first one.
Yeah,
first one in the NFL.
Yeah, so this is the fourth time that we're seeing this. Frank McCourt of the Dodgers kind of bankrupted himself out of business. That was a financial situation. I I can't think of this really happening in baseball yet. The closest thing was probably way back in the day when they suspended Steinbrenner.
Yeah, Charlie Finley got his slaps on the hand too, but I think he sold of his own accord.
Right. Yeah, so
I
I mean,
think I'm gonna go look that up.
well, this is Finley aside for a second. This is now 4 times in the span of a decade, 2 each in the NBA and the NFL, and all for appreciably the same reason. They didn't like the person. I
Yeah.
mean, different circumstances. You can parse the specifics all you want. Sterling's a racist. This guy's sexually inappropriate. This guy's toxic culture. But like, it all boils down to we don't like you. Because none of those things onto themselves are necessarily criminal. They might be bad qualities. They are bad qualities. But
True.
unless you physically rape someone or in other way sexually abuse them, being crude and uncouth with your comments is crude and uncouth, but not illegal. That's just is.
It's more a moral question than a legal question.
Right. It's certainly not reason to strip someone of their property. Like, I mean, because then to make a ridiculous example, how would that really be any different than saying, "Oh man, Gary, you really have a thing against this guy or that guy. We don't like that, so we don't think you should own that car anymore." Like, like it's my car, like it's my private property. Like,
Right.
Like, at what point does this precedent? Yeah, right now it's like exclusive billionaires, but like, at what point does this precedent get used to be weaponized against, regular people for regular assets? I mean, look what PayPal tried to do. I mean, just look at that.
I have my own dispute with PayPal, but that's...
Yeah, I never used PayPal anyway. I never liked their system.
Don't.
No, I won't. I never did.
Another story for another day offline, but yeah, don't.
But look what they tried to do. I mean, like, it's...
This is different because it is your business, but is your business inside of a larger business.
Right.
It's a piece of a larger business. And that's what they hide behind.
Right. Yeah, it's the country club model is what it is.
Right.
But you still own hard assets. Like, most of these owners own the buildings, the real estate. They obviously own all, trademarks and brands and data associated with that team that they own. So like, there's still, even under the broader shield of the NFL, there's still a lot of individual asset that any team owner is going to have that, like, I mean, chief among it, the real estate. I mean, if you force me to sell the team, well, then hell, I'm going to keep ownership of the building and charge you billions of dollars in rent. So watch this.
I was just going to say that. I'm going to get my money back by charging you a lot of rent.
Right.
If you don't like it, build another facility.
Yeah, go somewhere else. Right. I dare you. And yeah, good luck breaking that lease that I had for 25 years.
But no one wants to do that.
Snyder might.
He's crazy.
That's why I like him. Like, I mean, that's the one thing I like about him. He's a character, but this guy is gonna fight. He's got some Trump in him. He's not gonna go down without a battle. That's what I respect about him. And I hope he wins. The hell with it. I hope he wins.
I've wanted him to win from the beginning. One, because you know how I feel about the bully. And two, it's his business.
It's his business. Yep.
And yes, I would keep all the physical property.
Yes.
I mean, right down from the stadium. And hey, if the gift store is attached, that's mine.
That's mine, baby. That's right.
Not selling that. You could have the team.
No, it's
for lots of billions.
Lots of billions. Yep. Lots and lots of billions. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the hour with a breakdown of last night's Monday Night Football game and some NHL scores and notes. And then we will transition to hour 2, where we have our much anticipated NBA preview for the whole hour. NBA season tips off today. We'll get you caught up on everything to look for as we debut another NBA season. Back after this, it's the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.
Do you own a timeshare? Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't, and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. Use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you're ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Cancel your timeshare now with a free call. 800-741-9557. 800-741-9557. 800-741-9557. That's 800-741-9557. If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. Ouch! Well, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers. If you administer insulin 3 or more times per day or use an insulin pump, call now and learn how a CGM can help you.
Painless. No more pricking my finger.
No finger pricks.
Convenience. They delivered it free and they took care of all the paperwork.
You can reduce pain right away. Plus, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you spend more time in range. And if you have insurance, you can get a new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Call now and get free shipping of your new CGM. Plus, we'll bill your insurance for you. 800-826-5884. 800-826-5884. 800-826-5884. That's 800-826-5884.
All right, we're back. And hey, Monday Night Football, Chargers get the W. Broncos drop another one. Tough times to be a Broncos fan. We went through their opening rant with Wilson and those type of quarterbacks because there's really no appreciable way to improve this other than maybe a change of coach. That's it. I mean, I think that's
the only thing they can do right now.
That's their best opportunity. It really is.
But you said it was a defensive battle, so
it was. Like, to me, I watched both of these defenses make a lot of good plays, and I think that, like, there was one play in particular in the I believe it was early fourth quarter. The Chargers were in sort of no man's land in the field in terms of they were just outside field goal range, but punting was probably only going to gain them a few yards. And, you know, they decided to go for it on 4th and 2. And Herbert threw this crossing pattern, and the defensive back, I think it was Mathis for Denver, made an excellent play on the ball, got right in front of the guy and like batted it away. And I saw a number of those type of plays. I saw really good defense in this game. I saw a lot of pressure being applied to both quarterbacks. Both quarterbacks played all night under duress. I think Wilson was sacked 5 times. Herbert was sacked a few times as well. Like, I think a lot of the bad offense that we saw in this game was induced bad offense by really strong defense. I think the tail of the tape so far this year on Denver, though, is that they were bad offense. So I could see where it would be easy to kind of look at this, you know, in the glass half full versus glass half empty type of scenario. I totally understand that side of it. But for me, watching that game, I saw as much good from Denver's defense, which I said yesterday that Denver has a pretty good defense. That's kept them in some of these games. It's why they have a couple of wins. And that was on display yesterday because the Chargers moved the ball well at times in certain drives, but the Broncos were able to mostly keep them out of the end zone. And that's why that game was close and down to the wire. But the Chargers do pull out the win, and here we are.
Okay, perfect. You saw a defensive battle. I saw a lot of hockey last night. And there's a bunch of games. We have a bunch of scores, and I think it's time to drop the puck.
Okay.
As I physically drop a puck.
Boom.
A lot of games last night. Gary, the Rangers are super hot. Had a big night again. They beat the Mighty Duckies of Anaheim 6-4. Mika Zibanejad had 2 goals and an assist. Arizona doubled up Toronto 4-2. Boston beat Florida 5-3. In a super exciting game, the LA Kings beat Detroit 5-4 in overtime. Montreal beat Pittsburgh in a shocker in overtime. Nick Suzuki got the game winner. Alex Ovechkin had 2 goals, 2 assists. Washington 6, Vancouver 4. McKinnon and Lyubushkin each had a goal and 2 assists. Colorado doubled up Minnesota 6-3. It was Dallas 4, Winnipeg 1, and Carolina cracked the Kraken 5-1 in Seattle. We had a couple injuries last night. Tyler Bertuzzi is out 4 to 6 weeks with an upper body injury, and he got it the worst way possible, blocking a shot. Ooh, that hurts. Flyers put defenseman Rasmus Ristolainen on injured reserve. Coyote center Nick Schmaltz will miss 6 to 8 weeks with an upper body injury. That's a team that can't afford to lose any one of their few good players. And losing to the Coyotes last night was insult. Well, the Leafs added injury too as Jake Muzzin left the game last night, and he is on the injured list for an undetermined amount of time. And that's what I have.
All righty, there you go. So
and I have the puck back up.
You got
Yay.
there we go. There's the puck. That's the puck that hurt Bertuzzi. It's a souvenir. All right.
Oh man, can you imagine someone taking a 98-mile-an-hour slap shot and you slide down to block it and it hits your body?
Yeah, it's like getting hit by a baseball.
Yeah.
It hurts.
It's that kind of pain.
Yep. It hurts.
And if it something hits you in the ribs, man, there ain't enough padding in the world.
Glad it wasn't me. So yeah, getting back to this football game, 19-16 in overtime. Both teams, I think, battled some challenges in this one. I think that the Chargers probably should make a call to Odell Beckham. I feel that they don't have quite the separation with their receivers that I thought they were going to have. And
they're pretty well banged up too.
They are. That's why I think they should probably make a call to him. It's going to be interesting once he's healthy in a couple of weeks. He's going to have a number of suitors. I think if I was going to rank the teams in terms of how much they need a guy like that, I think the Rams are at the top of the list. I think the Giants would be my second choice. The Giants are 5-1, but they are a very perilous 5-1.
They are.
They've won a lot of games.
Them the credit for being 5-1.
They're 5-1, but they could just as well be 1-5 or 2-3 very easily. I mean, so I would feel more comfortable because that's another team banged up in the receiving core. Sterling Shepard's out for the year, for example. I would, and of course he has history there. I think he would help the Giants a lot. I'd probably put the Chargers next on that list at 3. And then 2 other teams I think could really benefit from someone like him would be maybe a team like San Francisco. And, hell, bring him to Buffalo. Why not?
Buffalo has talked to him.
Yeah.
That's something they are looking at. And Von Miller's been pushing.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, I mean,
why not? I mean, the best thing to do is take someone away from your competition.
That's right.
And it doesn't cost anything. There's no rights to give up.
Right.
No draft picks necessary or players.
Nope, just some money for the prorated season, whatever you're going to pay him for, prorated for the rest of the year.
And it looks like the Niners are topping the list in the Christian McCaffrey stakes as well. The Niners and the Bills look like they're 1 and 2 on the list. They all deny talking to Carolina about it, but
Please.
Buffalo's reached out to them before, so I
Right.
know they've had conversations. And they kind of told them, don't trade him until you talk to us. So, hey, if you get the last dibs, it's never a bad thing.
Yeah, it's true. All right. Well, there you go. That's hour one. Coming up next, NBA season preview. Yeah, baby. Let's do it. Best time of year. One of my favorite sports days of the year is the tip off to the NBA season. I know a lot of people don't think of the start of the season as the start of the season. A lot of people think of it as like Christmas, but I look at it like this. It fills out my week with regular content, sports content to augment the mid-season NFL, early season hockey, and playoff baseball. And baseball is about to end. It's another few weeks left in the season. So it just gives me another thing to sink my teeth into day to day. And that's what I love about the regular season in these marathon sports is you have something every day.
Yeah.
That's what's great
Christmas is my favorite, though.
Oh, Christmas is the best day of
That's
the
a
NBA
marathon.
season.
That's just
it's
sitting
tremendous.
That's binge watching, and it's so good.
I mean, nothing says American holidays like Thanksgiving football and Christmas basketball.
Christmas basketball.
It's just beautiful. It's a wonderful thing. All right, let's take our break. We'll come back. Season preview, hour 2. It's upon us. Back after this, it's the Gary Ayd Show. You're on The Cave. Alrighty, welcome back. It's the Gary Ayd Show, Hour 2 here on The Cave. Let's do it, baby. NBA season 2022-2023. It is here. And, I've never understood why there's not an equal amount of anticipation for the start of the NBA season as there are for at least baseball and football, and among the hockey crowd, the hockey as well. But baseball and football opening day are almost national holidays.
Yes.
And basketball is on equal footing as far as fan base is concerned, at least with baseball, or close to it. And nothing's equal to the NFL. The other three sports together almost don't equal the NFL. But I've it's always been amazing to me that it's basically an afterthought. Like it's just not a thing. And for me, it's always been one of my favorite days of the sports calendar. I love it because it's like it means that from this point forward, I got 1 to 15 basketball games every day to watch or follow or read about. In addition to everything else, like everyone always talks about how October is the greatest month of the year, and they'll say broadly it's because everything's active at the same time, but yet we don't really celebrate when one of the big components of that starts. And I don't understand it. To me, this is high on my list of favorite days on the sports calendar. I love opening day in the NBA.
I've never understood it either. It just made no sense to me. It used to be where people opening day for baseball and football was during the day.
Yeah. Opening day.
Other sports are not.
Right.
Not the case anymore with the NFL because they open on Thursday night.
That's right. Yes.
And baseball might be the only one that still does some day games, but still more of them are at night. And the NBA's opening night tonight has 2 great games.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. We're going to get to those later in the hour. They are, we'll tell you, Boston and Philadelphia in Boston, LA and Golden State in Golden State. Both these games are TNT, 7:30, 10 o'clock, respectively, start time Eastern. We'll break those down near the end of the show, but we want to do something a little different for the top 5 today, but not so different because we still want the great voice of Jack George to officially kick it off.
Oh, yes.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for.
It's
time for King Talk Radio's Top 5.
Wouldn't be the top 5 without Jack George. So.
Oh, I want to sound like that when I grow up.
Me too.
Top 5's going to be a little different.
It is.
Gary.
Yes.
I'm going to give you your top 5. And you're going to rank them for me.
And we're going to have you do the same thing. We'll kind of go back and forth on this. This is one of the few times we've talked about it in advance.
The top 5 is in the form of a question.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, will this season produce a first-time MVP? Candidates are Luka Doncic, Joel Embiid, Ja Morant, Jason Tatum, and Devin Booker.
All good candidates. Ooh, it's going to be tough to rank those guys.
I know.
I'm
having a problem with number 1.
I'm going to rank this in the order that I think is most likely to happen. The one thing with the NBA MVP is there is definitely an element of it's your turn type of thing for guys who have been knocking on the door. And to that end, I think I'm going to say Embiid is the front runner. There's a cadre of people, a certain demographic of people that think Jokic robbed him, if not once, twice.
I'm not one of them.
I'm not one either. I thought last year was a toss-up. I did
too, because Embiid played more games last year.
Yeah, I think it could have gone either way last year, but Jokic's numbers were so incredible. Not that Embiid's weren't. And the other thing I think fell in Jokic's favor was how decimated the team was by injury while remaining competitive almost exclusively because of his play. And I think that's ultimately what won him the MVP last year. And I didn't have a problem with it. Now, that said, I wouldn't have had a problem if Embiid won it either. He was equally deserving.
Right. The year before, it was Jokic.
It was Jokic.
Period.
Jokic was the clear-cut MVP 2 years ago. Last year was a toss-up, but I think they made the right choice. If I had to vote last year, I would have voted for Jokic for just that one reason. He did more. I've always been who did the most with the least is my biggest driver in terms of who I favor for MVP. That's why I always thought all those years ago that Kobe should have won at least the 2006 MVP instead of Steve Nash, because Kobe dragged a poo-poo platter of trash to the playoffs single-handedly. He had guys named Smush and Sasha and DJ Benda and God Almighty. It's just a disaster of a roster.
I agree with that, but I do not agree with the fact that Shaq says he was robbed of both of them. No, you weren't robbed of either.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean,
let's put that.
Robbed is a strong term, but Kobe was the most important player to his team that year, and I think Jokic was the most important player to his team last year. So that said, all that to say, there is an element of your turn here. So for that reason, I'm going to put Embiid at the pole position because he's been knocking on the door 2 straight years, and I think the voters are going to look for a reason to give it to him. Now, I have every confidence that Embiid will have a season that's worthy of winning it. I'm not saying he's going to, it's not a full charity case, but I think if he does his part, which I expect him to do, I think there's going to be a kind of a benefit of the doubt. You've earned your keep, so to speak. That's going to work a little bit in his favor with the voters. So I'm going to put him at the poll for that reason. I think. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I have him at 1A.
It's hard to spot. Number 2 is Doncic for me.
Doncic is 1B.
Yeah. Okay.
The only reason I do that is because I need to see Embiid play 60 to 65 games.
Right. And
and there's been years he's had trouble doing that.
It's true.
And 2 years ago, when Jokic won the first one, Embiid missed serious time.
Yes, he did.
And he missed some games last year, but it didn't matter much because they had Drummond filling in. And some games they just rested him a couple of back-to-backs. And that's completely understandable. He has to play at least 60 games. That's always been my benchmark.
Right.
So I have him as 1A because I think he's first. But the injuries concern me. I have Doncic second. He just has one small step to take. And he needs a little more trust in his teammates.
Mm-hmm.
And he could be that generational guy who wins multiples.
Yeah, I think he's going to be. I think I agree with you 100%. He's right there at the very last point of evolution. Because the one thing he already has that some guys never get and others takes them a lot longer to develop, this guy is totally comfortable in game-defining, game-winning situations.
Yes.
Oh, he is right now. If I had a choice, my first choice for ball in the hands of someone, game on the line, my first choice is LeBron. My second choice is Luka Doncic.
Agree.
Of active players.
Agree completely.
And the only reason I put LeBron over Doncic is because of what you just said. LeBron's decision-making and ability to trust his teammates and thus get the highest percentage shot every time is what separates him. The thing people use against him as a criticism is, to me, his greatest strength in game-winning situations. I don't need hero ball. I need the best possible shot.
Right.
And LeBron gets me that every time.
You play the percentage.
Yep. But all right, so
Doncic has that step to take.
He does.
I think he will because he has a little more help this year.
Yep.
Especially inside.
Yeah. Wood was
you talk about a guy that can play anywhere.
Oh, he's a beast. He's just a beast.
He could bring the ball up.
Yep.
He could pull up for a 30-footer. He could drive.
Yeah.
He can Euro step.
He can play in the post.
He can. He's a great passer.
Yep.
Rebounds his position more than adequately.
Yeah, he's just a beast. So he's number 2. That leaves Morant, Booker, and Tatum for the remaining 3 spots.
This was a tough one for me,
This
too.
is hard. I'm going to go ahead and say, I think I'll put it this way. I'm going to skip 2 and 3 for a second because it's more of a discussion. I think Booker is decidedly 5th. So he's definitely 5th for me. I think there's a certain amount of buzz, sex appeal, Q rating that both Morant and Tatum have that Booker, for whatever reason, seems to lack, that I think is going to put them above him. I think Tatum, coming off a finals appearance where he struggled, could potentially benefit from like the redeem story, or it could also go against him and say, well, we know you can do it in the regular season. Let's see what you do in the playoffs. And then you can get your award. You can get your flowers next year. So because I'm not sure of how that's going to flip, I'm going to go with Morant at 3 because I think Morant really can only appreciate his stock after what he did last year. I don't think he can really regress. So I think I'm almost playing this like a stock futures bet. So I'm going to put Morant at 3, Tatum at 4, and Devin Booker at 5. I think the cloud of, first of all, Booker's one of these guys that's he's sort of like the perimeter version of Tim Duncan. He's just like an understated superstar that just gets the job done. And that unfortunately doesn't sell very well when it comes to season awards like this. That's not fair, but it just is the truth. But the other two things working against him, in my opinion, are the cloud that has been cast by what's going on with the organization. And I think a fair reputation for that team, which of course he's a part of regular season monster, playoff underachiever. And so I think he's going to run into some of that too. So my order will be Embiid, Doncic, Morant, Tatum, Booker.
There's also a lot of issue with Booker as what are the Suns this year?
Well, there's that too. That's true.
What do they look like?
Right.
The Jay Crowder situation is going to take its toll, as is the Miles Bridges. I mean, when we were talking free agents and building a team out of free agents yesterday, there's a reason he's on that list.
Mm-hmm.
And he has some heavy legal stuff coming up.
Who? Bridges?
Yeah.
Well,
and who knows how long that's going to take.
Well, wasn't it McCall that's on the Suns? Aren't you confusing the Bridgeses?
I'm confusing the Bridgeses. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I think the Bridges on the Suns is good. Are they brothers? They must be.
I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't. Okay, well, he's in trouble.
So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
That is very, very true. Oh, the master brings back the puns. Yes.
All right, so there's there's my top 5. What's your order?
Mine is Morant at 3. It was proven last year during the playoffs how valuable he was to that team, and in the regular season when he missed, which wasn't often. He's 3. Tatum's 4. I agree with you. We've seen this act in the regular season. Do it again in the playoffs, and maybe you'll get the rewards next year. Of course, next year you'll be fighting Doncic. And with all the turmoil going on in Phoenix, I like Booker a lot. You know, I've been on him before.
Oh, yes.
Anyone named him to any All-Star games. Just a great player. Just does so much. Oh, Chris Paul's missing today. Okay, guess I got to have 10 assists too, well as my points.
Yeah, Booker's
he does. He's much improved on defense. He does whatever is asked of him, and you never hear a complaint out of him.
That's true.
But yeah, he's 5th in this. And that sounds about like a pretty good top 5.
I think,
although we're right down the center on this. But
it's tough, man.
Great minds, man. What can I say?
They're all. That's right. And all these guys are so damn good.
Yes.
Now, what would be kind of interesting is if you extrapolate this out a little bit, you broaden the scope and remove the qualifier of first-time MVPs. Where would these same 5 guys rank in just the pecking order if you were to handicap the likelihood of MVP across the league, regardless of if someone's won it before or not. Because I don't know that I would move Embiid off my pole spot for the reason I used.
I wouldn't either, although I am going to say Jokic is still going to be in there. Giannis is in
Those
there.
are the two guys you have to throw in.
Yeah. And I got some dark horses. I mean, Curry,
Yep.
LeBron, Harden.
Kawhi, potentially.
Kawhi. Yeah, there's a lot of things that can happen.
Yep. You just wonder, with those dark horses, with the NBA voting the way it is, they have to so overperform to kind of unseat the incumbents. Like, you know, can known quantities that we unfortunately take for granted achieve that? I mean, like, I have every expectation that LeBron's going to average 38 and 7 because that's what he does.
Right.
but like, he's been doing that for 20 years. Like, that should get him an MVP, but it won't. You know, what could he possibly do?
It's fatigue. Jordan suffered it too.
Right. That's what I mean. The same with Curry.
Yeah.
Kawhi a little bit less so. But Giannis and Jokic are going to start facing that, I think. Especially Giannis.
Although both have to be in the running.
They have to be, right. I mean,
I consider Giannis the best player in the game, period.
I agree. Yeah, he's a monster. I mean, there's just nothing you can do with him. He's just completely indefensible.
And that's no disrespect to anyone else.
No, he's a monster. He's just an absolute monster. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We continue our season preview. Up next, we're going to do some quick hitters. We got some storylines, right, Rich?
Oh, yeah, I've got a few of them.
Yeah, so we'll go through those. And then we also are going to give you a few players that might be on the move. And then lastly, we'll break down tonight's first two games. So that's what's on docket the rest of the way in our NBA season preview here on Hour 2 of the Gary Ayd Show. Back after this on The Cave.
Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't, and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. Use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you're ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Cancel your timeshare now with a free call. 800-741-9557. 800-741-9557. 800-741-9557. That's 800-741-9557. If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. Ouch! Well, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers. If you administer insulin 3 or more times per day or use an insulin pump, call now and learn how a CGM can help you.
Painless. No more pricking my finger.
No finger pricks.
Convenience. They delivered it free and they took care of all the paperwork.
You can reduce pain right away. Plus, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you spend more time in range. And if you have insurance, you can get a new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Call now and get free shipping of your new CGM. Plus, we'll bill your insurance for you. 800-826-5884. 800-826-5884. 800-826-5884. That's 800-826-5884.
All righty, we're back. So let's hit some of these storylines, Rich. What do we got?
First one, is James Harden the missing link in Philly? Can he be that second guy to Embiid? Ball handling, passing, bringing that solid offensive game? And can he, Embiid, coexist?
I think they can coexist. I don't think that's going to be a problem at all. I think those two will actually work very well together. I don't trust James Harden in big spots. And that lack of trust is compounded by how little I trust his coach in those same spots. So for me, I still think this team's going to come up short when it matters because two of their three most important figures, their track record says that's what they do. And you put them together, I don't like the fit. And I feel for Embiid, but I think there's going to be heartache on the horizon for Philadelphia this year. I expect them to be in a series, maybe up 3-2, and a pivotal play happens, maybe against like Boston or Milwaukee or something, and it goes into Philly lore of like the agony of defeat. Like I expect that because that's what I expect from James Harden in big spots is failure.
I'm kind of wondering if Tobias Harris can be that third guy that smooths that over or is more dependable when necessary.
Will Doc Rivers, though, have the gumption to put the ball in Tobias Harris' hands in those situations and not Harden? Will he do that?
He didn't show last year that he would do that.
And that's the problem because I would trust Harris more in those situations than Harden. But I actually understand Doc's predicament with that because, like, you know, in the NBA, these stars rule the roost, as we all know. And, like,
right.
You know, that's going to set off a bomb. It just is. If you, like, 2 minutes to go, you put the ball in Tobias Harris' hands over James Harden, that's not going to sit well. Now, you could get away with giving it to Embiid, and Embiid's skilled enough. He's not a classic Neanderthal. Like, you can put him in a, you know, a high post area in triple threat and let him go to work.
True.
That's probably what I would do. I mean,
True.
He is your best player. Harden can't and won't be upset about that. I don't think.
He shouldn't be.
Right.
Let's stay in the East for a while. Which way are the Nets headed?
Where is Texas relative to New York? South, baby, way south. Oh,
they have damage to repair.
Yes.
This could go sideways quickly if they don't. They're going to be interesting to watch. But how does Simmons fit in with Durant and Kyrie?
Well, all right. Let's do a little exercise here. I'm going to give you a rapid fire, yes or no question.
Oh, I was told there'd be no physical activity in this show.
I'm sorry. We snuck one in on you. All right. So we're going to ask you just a couple of yes or no. Right now, is Brooklyn better than Miami?
No.
Is Brooklyn better than Milwaukee?
No.
Are they better than Boston?
No.
Okay. Are they better than Philadelphia?
Toss up.
Are they better than Cleveland?
Yes.
Okay.
Toss up again.
Toss up. Okay. So that puts them somewhere between 4 and 6. I have them not better than Philly and not better than Cleveland. So I have them at as high as 6. Now, I also don't know that they're better than Chicago. I'm not convinced because of the cohesiveness of that Chicago team and the togetherness of the organization. I think the Nets have a talent advantage, top shelf talent advantage, but I think
that's the only reason I'm iffy.
Right. But
because
the Bulls,
if it works,
right. If it works, but it has to work.
Simmons has to be that glue.
Good luck.
And I think Simmons improves them defensively a lot.
Yeah. Well, I agree with that. I have them at 6 in the East.
Okay.
I think that if they played a playoff series against any of the teams I mentioned, I don't know that I would pick them against anyone but Chicago. I might pick them against Cleveland too because I really think Cleveland's small backcourt is going to be an absolute Achilles heel this year. Defensively, I think it's going to kill them. I think it's going to come back to bite them. I do. Because they're going to have to, they have the bodies to manage it with some of their depth, but you're going to have to take out one of your 2 best players in critical spots to match up defensively. And I think that just doesn't bode well long-term. But I'm not picking them against Boston. I'm not picking them against Philly. I'm not picking them against Milwaukee. And I'm not picking them against Miami. So like when they match up with one of those 4 teams in the playoffs, I don't like their chances, which they will by the second round. So I see them as a second round team.
Okay, let's one more in the East.
Mm-hmm.
The East is loaded, as you said. Just when it looked like Boston, Miami, Philly, Milwaukee, throw in Brooklyn, Chicago can compete for the East title. Cleveland gets Donovan Mitchell. Who comes out of this? The Celtics bring back like the heart of a team that reached the finals, but they have their work cut out for them.
They do.
Then the reward for this is to have to go against a team that just clawed through the Western Conference.
It's a tough conference, man. It is.
It really is. It used to be the weak one.
Not anymore. The NBA is so deep right now. The West isn't much different. That's the thing. Like, there are a few more question marks in the West, which I'm sure we'll get to. But like, both conferences are loaded right now. This is gonna be a tough season. I think Miami or Boston wins the most games, but I think Milwaukee comes out of it in the end. I just think Milwaukee's at that stage in their maturity where they're not going to shoot to win the conference. They'll be happy to be a 2 or a 3 seed. They don't care if they play at home or on the road. They just want to be healthy come the playoffs, win their 52 to 55 games. And I think in a playoff series, because of what you said before, and I couldn't agree more, Giannis being the best player in the league, Middleton, if he's healthy, is a wonderful wing, and then they have all these great players around them. They all fit so perfectly together. They're well coached. I think they're the best team in basketball when it's all said and done.
I agree. Healthy they are.
Yeah, healthy, right.
Okay, let's go to the West. The West is nice.
It
Is this finally the Clippers season?
Could be. I mean,
PG and Leonard are healthy.
They
if
are.
they stay that way,
now.
I mean, they went 42-40 last year, basically without him.
It's true.
They're deep when you think about Reggie Jackson, Luke Kennard, Robert Covington, Norman Powell, Vitsa Zubats, Batum, and of course, John Wall.
It's a very deep team.
And Ty Lue has proven himself.
He's a solid coach. It could be. I think it's very. I mean, look, they have as good a chance as anyone in the West of unseating Golden State. I like them. I like Dallas.
Well, we're gonna get to the whole West.
Yeah, but the Clippers, it could very well be their year. I mean, they're gonna be a really good team. It's gonna be a non-answer because there's so many teams here. It's hard to pick one. But I mean, they're gonna be tough. The one thing that they bring to the table that maybe is their ultimate advantage is their defensive switchability, if their schemes are right, is as good as anybody because of the combination of Kawhi and George. Those two bring so much defensive versatility. And then you have a guy like Zubats on the back end, and Batum plays his position well defensively as well. And then you have John Wall maybe kind of playing center field, going for those turnovers because he can afford to gamble with that, back end. That could be a buzzsaw defense.
And I think John Wall has a real good shot at being 6th man of the year.
I agree. Yeah, that could be
They
a
are
buzzsaw.
starting Jackson. And, well, let's stay in the same building, different locker room.
All right.
What's your take on the Lakers? Are they a playoff team?
Yeah, I think they'll be a playoff team. I'm liking the talk I'm hearing about Russell Westbrook coming off the bench. It should have been done last year for various reasons. It wasn't. If he takes to that role with gusto. If. I like this team a whole lot better. The two big things last year, well, there were 3. Health was the biggest one. And then ego by both Westbrook and Davis to a lesser extent. Davis refusing or really hating to play center. Westbrook not wanting to come off the bench. This team needs, first of all, people to be healthy, like every team does. That's not unique to the Lakers. But this team needs Westbrook to come off the bench and Davis to play center.
Yes.
For them to be
absolutely
their best. They need LeBron at the 4. He's going to play a point 4. Early, I would start Austin Reeves.
I don't think they will.
I don't think so. It'll probably be Schroeder. But
and I don't like that backcourt right away.
Yeah, I don't like that either. And then you're going to throw, another wing in there, whether it's Walker or maybe it's this kid was his name Jones or Rogers that just made from the G League. Like, you're going to throw another wing in there, and
DHT is gone, so that hurts depth.
Yep, it does. You have Toscano Anderson. He could be
interesting.
He's interesting. So I don't love their fifth starter, whoever it ends up being, but their best lineup is 4 capable shooters around LeBron James with Davis at center and Westbrook quarterbacking the second unit.
And Davis is saying this year if he has to, but he said that before too and ends up after a week not liking it.
Right.
Which concerns me.
Because that's the only way
fit together.
Right. That's the only way they can be good. If Davis plays center and Westbrook is the 6th man, I think the Lakers could be a contender. If either or both those things doesn't happen, I think they can miss the playoffs.
I agree completely.
It's really how you deploy these pieces with this team. This team lacks the versatility of other contending teams in the West.
The Clippers.
Like the Clippers. But their advantage is, if healthy, guarding a 2-man game of LeBron and Davis is mission impossible. It can't be done. Those two together probably fit together better than any tandem in the NBA because they so complement each other's abilities. I mean, you put LeBron and Davis in the pick and roll from 15 feet, 18 feet out. Yeah, have fun.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to have to plan that one. It's like, yep, well, that kind of sucks. Hopefully they don't do it too much.
Are we even going to get 60 games out of AD is another question.
Yeah, I think as long as you get 60 games out of them, I think you're okay. Like, I'm kind of resigned myself to the fact that, like, the best players teams are going to play about 60 games is what you're going to see from now on. Like, you saw that with Curry last year. He played about 60. It was 60 odd numbers, like 62 or something.
67, I think.
Okay, yeah. You've seen that with Kawhi in Toronto. Like, I just expect that
Kawhi played exactly 60 in Toronto.
I expect
the year he won the title, and that kept him healthy enough to play in the playoffs.
So I expect that from every team's top guys, with the exception of a few. Like, Harden likes to play every day. If he's not hurt, LeBron's always been that way. Westbrook's another one. There's a handful of guys like that, Doncic. But for the most part, you're going to see, I think, 60, 65 games from your top guys.
Okay. Let's finish up West. Who can dethrone the Warriors? You got the Mavs, you got the Nuggets, you got the Grizz, you got the Clippers, and to a lesser extent the Suns. Which team jumps out at you and says, if the Warriors are going to lose, this who's going to beat them?
I'm going to give you a dark horse here because I'm doing this in matchups because the playoffs are all about matchups. And it's hard because they have absolutely no bench at all. But I think the starting lineup of the Timberwolves will give the Warriors nightmares. I think that's a rough lineup for the Warriors to match up with Gobert there now. And Cat, you're not going to be able to pick on him the way you did before because now Gobert is back there. And Edwards evolving the way he is. I think that they have the athleticism. They just got some experience. They have the big, strong, long guards that can switch those Warrior pick and rolls. They got the ultimate eraser on the back end now. And Cat, as much as he doesn't play at times, is still a talented big body that you have to contend with. And the Warriors don't love to play big bodies. It's not their style. I think the Timberwolves can force them into uncomfortable matchups. I think from a matchups perspective, I think the Timberwolves present the toughest challenge for the Warriors of teams they're likely to play earlier in the playoffs.
What if James Wiseman is healthy and has even the year he had as a rookie?
Well, I don't know what James Wiseman is. Even as a rookie, he was, just kind of a double-double type of guy.
But he played over half the season before going down.
That would help, but I don't know enough of what he brings to know
Okay.
if that would solve the problem. But the other thing is, though, and this as a coach, even if Wiseman achieves that, let's just say he does, that is not, you don't want to play Wiseman 35 minutes a game if you're Golden State. But a team like Minnesota might force you to play big on a regular basis because of what they're bringing to the table. And that takes them out of their wheelhouse, which means Minnesota would be dictating the matchups.
True.
But
of course, now how does that backcourt handle
Curry and Thompson?
Well,
I think the combination of Russell and Edwards is
Russell can defend some.
They're long enough. Yeah.
Edwards is a sieve.
He's a sieve, but he might be a sieve based on lack of know-how, not lack of ability, because he is 6'6" and athletic as they come. There's no reason he shouldn't be able to guard somebody.
Right.
No, but it's fair. But I think that's a tough matchup for him. One other one, a more frontline team. I mean, Dallas is just good. I mean, Luka has shown he's not afraid of anybody, any moment. And anytime he's on the court, unless he's on the court with LeBron or Giannis, he's the best player on the court.
Right.
And
they did lose points that they have to replace.
Yep. Well, with Brunson, I think a healthy Hardaway goes a long way to replacing some of that production.
That's true. I agree with. Okay, couple more categories here.
All right.
Some quick ones. I got a list of people here. Players we can't wait to see return. You got Zion, Kawhi, Jamal Murray, Wiseman, speaking of him, Ben Simmons, Kendrick Nunn, TJ Warren in Brooklyn,
yep,
Jonathan Isaac in Orlando, and Dario Saric in Phoenix. Rank those.
All right. I'm going to see if I can remember them all. Saric is a guy I can't wait to see play. I always loved the way he plays.
I liked him in Philly.
He plays with a ferocity and energy level that is very, very commendable. It's NBA elite.
And gives them much needed front court size.
Yes, he does. He's a big one. Being a Laker fan, I'm of course curious about Kendrick Nunn.
I liked him in Miami a lot.
Yeah.
There is no reason he shouldn't contribute here.
Would you start him?
I probably.
Yeah, I would too. All right.
If healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, he helped take Miami to a final.
So he's going to be high on my list. Of course, Zion is the biggest name.
Yeah. Kawhi
coming back. Paul George.
TJ Warren is a sleeper to me.
I don't know what to make of him because he had that one explosive performance in the bubble. And he's had other times in his career where he's shown capable of being a scorer, but he's so feast or famine. He gives me a lot of Michael Beasley vibes.
A lot more stable.
Well, that's not hard, but that's true.
I think he helps Brooklyn off the bench. I really do.
Okay.
And I think that gives them much needed scoring off the bench, floor spacing, and athleticism. He's a legit 6'8" with a wingspan.
All right. So we got Michael.
Who else haven't we talked about? Simmons, Wiseman?
Well, Simmons is definitely there's going to be a lot of eyes on him. He needs to get out there and play well. That's the bottom line.
Same thing with Wiseman.
Yep.
And the last one I had was Jonathan Isaac, who's a decent player when healthy.
He is a good
think
player.
in Orlando, it's just not going to matter.
Orlando's one of those teams that
does it matter if Isaac plays at all?
Just throw them out already. Let's go. Come on, they've been so bad for so long. They can't keep their shit together. Let's get out of there. But no, Isaac certainly is a noteworthy player. For his, he's taken some pretty intense stances on things and been very brave
Yeah.
about it. I give him a lot of credit for that. I think
And
he's a good player.
Who else haven't we talked about? Jamal Murray.
And Michael Porter. Yeah, both guys in Denver.
Yeah.
Murray is one of my probably 5 or 7 favorite players in the whole NBA to watch. I love his game.
So would he be first on your list of players you can't wait to see come back?
It's him or Simmons for me.
Yeah, I've got Kawhi, Murray, Zion, Saric, and Nunn is my 5.
I would go probably Murray, Simmons, Saric, Nunn, and probably Zion. That would be my 5.
Okay.
Man, this is
One
good
more.
stuff.
One more. Rookie of the year.
Ooh.
Well, we had 3 potential number 1 picks this year in Banchero, Holmgren, and Smith. Holmgren's out. Banchero and Smith are going to get a lot of minutes. Top 2 picks don't always win, though. Simmons was the last number 1 in 2018 to win. Morant was the last number 2 in 2020. I'll throw some names at you and see what you think. Keegan Murray of Sacramento, Jaden Ivey in Detroit, Shaedon Sharpe in Portland, and Benedict Mathurin in Indiana, who's going to get a lot of playing time.
He is. I think who's the guy? Not Mathurin, the one before that.
Shaedon Sharpe.
Portland. Yeah, I
also going to get a lot of playing time.
I think he's going to have the inside track. He has a pretty rare balance for rookies of opportunity, support, meaning he's not going to be the guy, and a recent track record of organizational success. That is likely to be at least partially resumed this year. I think that gives him the opportunity to sort of effortlessly average 15 or 16 points in a sort of efficient way that other rookies aren't going to be given that luxury because they're going to be too much of a focal point of their team. I think that gives him a real competitive advantage in putting up really good numbers very efficiently, sort of under the radar with little pressure. And his team is going to be winning, which voters always look at too. So I'm going to put him as my most likely candidate for those reasons. Plus, I think he's really good, of course. My favorite rookie in this class it's a toss-up between there's 3. There's Banchero, the number 1 pick, but he's in Orlando. That's like 3 strikes against him right out of the gate.
Right.
Just ask Markel Fultz, he'll tell you. Poor kid. And then I like Keegan Murray, I like Jaden Ivey. I think Ivey might be my number 2 because I think that there's going to be enough attention on Cunningham. So they'll kind of split the pressure a little bit. Both young guys,
I think
of
they
course.
can play together well.
I do too. So I'll put him at number 2. I would have put Murray higher there, except he's got the Sacramento thing going with him. But I think he might be the best perimeter player in this draft. I think he's a great player. Even though he's got size, I think he's got great perimeter skills. I'll put him 3. I'll put Banchero 4. And I really think it's going to be one of those 4 guys. You can throw in anyone you want at 5th.
I'm going to throw Mathurin in there because
That's
I think
fine.
he's going to get the time. I know he said something stupid, but hey.
No, he's a good player.
He is. And there's no one else to play that spot in Indiana.
Maybe we can
And you know what the worst thing about this is? The 2 worst teams in the league for my money, Oklahoma City and San Antonio. Oklahoma City due to injury, but neither of them have a player on this list.
Isn't that funny? God, San Antonio's terrible. Oh, wasn't it funny? Yesterday we were talking about what's his name finally getting a chance to play somewhere that mattered, and he got moved. Oh God, now I'm drawing a blank on the name. Basketball player. I'll think of it. But yeah, he got traded like later that day. But
who are you thinking of? I can't remember.
Yeah, we'll think of it. All right, so let's talk about tonight's games. We got like 5 minutes left. Let's break these down.
I thought we were going to do our power rankings.
Oh, we got to do that. Yes. Okay, let's do them. Power rankings.
Okay. 1 through 10.
Yep.
I'm going Warriors because they are the defending champions. Bucks, Celtics, Clippers, Nuggets, Sixers, Heat, Grizzlies, Timberwolves, and Suns.
By the way, it was Robbie Anderson, the football player I was thinking of.
Oh yeah,
he got traded yesterday to Arizona.
Yeah. Yes.
That's who it was. All right, I'm going 1 through 10. I'm going Bucks, Mavericks, Warriors, Grizzlies, Celtics. That's my top 5. Philly is 6. Denver. No, I'm going to go Clippers 7. Denver 8. Miami 9.
Okay, kind of similar.
And 10, I'm going to go with did I put Denver in here yet?
Yes.
No, I was going to go them at 7, but I put them at 8, right? Okay, so Denver 8, Miami 9. I'm torn between the Lakers, Timberwolves,
Grizzlies.
No, I have Grizzlies at 4.
You got the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Timberwolves at 10 here.
That's what I did.
Yeah. I have too many questions about Cleveland, Brooklyn, and the Lakers to confidently rank them right now.
And I have the same questions about Brooklyn, the Lakers, and the Suns.
Yeah, and the Suns. I left them off the list too. Yep.
I know the last two are Orlando and San Antonio.
I have a different last two. My second to last is
not Orlando. Oklahoma City and San Antonio.
My last two, I have 2. My second to last is San, and my last is Tonia.
Okay. That works.
They're so bad, I'm putting them there twice. They're the worst.
We still got a franchise who can beat them.
All right, we got a couple.
We're still building that.
That's right. We got a couple of minutes. Let's break down these games real quick.
Okay, good. First one's going to be fun.
Oh,
Sixers at Celtics.
Yeah, it's a great game. Going to be interesting to see what the coaching looks like for Boston and how cohesive they are together. Also,
that's the question.
It is. On the court, I'm also going to be curious to see what a healthy Robert Williams looks like versus Joel Embiid.
Yeah, they didn't have that in the playoffs.
Yep, made a big difference. That said, I think I'm going to take Philly in this game. I think they're coming in probably a little bit healthier mentally, more chip on their shoulder. I think that even though he's our favorite punching bag, I think Doc Rivers has a rare coaching advantage in this one, just based on experience alone. So I got Philly tonight.
True. The Celtics coaching is
well, he's a rookie. And
yeah,
and he wasn't expecting to be in this position either.
Right.
So I'm going to go with the Sixers tonight.
Agreed.
All right.
Game 2.
Yes.
Lakers Warriors.
Oh man.
I think this is fun. You're going to see a banner go up. You're going to see rings given out.
Montrezl Harrell is a good addition for Philly. That's true.
Yes.
I got the Lakers tonight. I think that the Warriors are going to be under a bit of a cloud with what happened. I think they're getting their rings. I think it's an early season game for a team that's kind of used to the marathon. I think the Lakers come out with more of a chip on their shoulder, more something to prove. I think that carries the day. I think the Lakers get a W tonight.
I'm going with the Warriors.
Okay.
The adrenaline from getting those rings and watching the banner go up, I think, is going to carry them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. So there you have it. So you got the you got the Warriors, I got the Lakers. We both got Philadelphia tonight. It's exciting stuff.
Yeah. Philly with the improved bench too.
Yeah, well,
that Harrell, Tucker.
Is Tucker still a player, or is he just yell at people now? I feel like he's just out there screaming at people.
He's still a player.
Okay.
He's tough. He's physical.
Yep.
He can defend inside for his size, and he'll hit open shots.
Okay.
I don't know how much. I mean, I wouldn't depend on him 30 minutes a night, but fortunately, with Tobias Harris, they don't have to.
Right. And Harrell now there too.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, Harrell, offensively and on the boards.
That's a guy with limitless energy.
Can help anyone. And oh yeah, he's like the Energizer Bunny.
Yeah.
Never stops.
Never. No, he's awesome. I got to broadcast his games back in the day. He played a year at Hargrave Military Academy in Chatham, Virginia. And
he had to have been a beast.
Oh, it wasn't even I mean, that whole team, to give you a quick story to end the show, that team sent 7 guys to D1 schools, because that's just a 1-year post-grad program. So it's one and done. And they had 7 guys go D1. Most of them went like name D1, like ACC, SEC schools, Big Ten schools, like and Harrell, even among a team like that, stood out as, whoa, who's this guy?
He went to Louisville.
Right, he went to Louisville. Well, Tubby Smith, I actually got to talk to him. We didn't do it on the air, but I got to talk to him. He came over and said that he liked the work I was doing. And at the time he was at what was it? He was after Kentucky. Where
Oklahoma?
Was it New Mexico maybe? Or it wasn't Oklahoma, no.
I don't remember now, but it was a step down from Kentucky.
Yeah, it might have been New Mexico. One of Pitino's assistants from Louisville was there. One of Roy Williams' guys from North Carolina. I mean, there were big time college scouts in that building every night. Like,
that had to have been fun.
Wake Forest got a couple of guys from that team. It was crazy. But Montrezl Harrell, the whole point of the story was, even among talent like that, he stood out as like, well, yeah, there's that guy. He's just dunking on everybody. He's doing warm-ups. He's doing like 180s at like half speed. Not even.
Are his legal issues behind him?
I hope so. I don't know. That's the whole thing. But if they are, that'll make a big difference. Well, there you have it. NBA season preview in the books. Let's roll the ball out there and let's get it on, baby. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Can't wait. And that's going to do it for us. For Rich Anselmo and our entire crew, it's Gary Ayd. We'll see you tomorrow, 10 to noon. Until then, cavetalkradio.com on the app or on our website, cavetalkradio.com. The stream is up. Rick Tittle is next. Cave Talk Radio.